Hello. Um, I want to talk about something that happened to me. Um, I work at Target, and you know how most Targets now have a Starbucks in them. I'm cross-trained as a Starbucks barista, and I had to learn, all the customers and the regulars, and I had to, be friendly and most people, just think, oh, she's just being a barista. She's just really nice. And there's this guy. His name is Daniel. How can I forget Daniel? Um, he came in once for the first time he ever came in, and he asked me for his tall chai, whole milk, no water. You know, that was his drink, but I said it wrong. Let's see, tall, whole milk, no water chai. There we go. And I accidentally forgot to give him his exact change, and I quickly fixed that. And he started joking around with me, and I joked back because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be friendly with the customers. We want them to come back. And he, I think, got the wrong message somewhere that first time we met. But he came in again a couple days later, and he asked, and I could remember his drink because nobody orders that drink. But I couldn't remember his name, so I asked him, and he was really offended by it. And I was like, that's a little weird, and I kind of stored that, but I didn't really think about it. And soon he started coming in every single day to talk to me, and it really kind of freaked me out. I thought he was just a regular at first, and I was like, oh, he's just coming in all the time now. He's one of the regulars. And it turned out he was just coming in to see me, and he would ask people who work there if I was working. And if I wasn't working, he didn't stay as long as he normally does. And when he saw that I was working there, he would stay until we closed. And it started to really bother me. And my boss even asked me, he's like, hey, that guy's kind of creepy. Do you want me to tell him to leave? And I was like, no, no, no. He's just a weird guy. Um, he's harmless. And he started telling me really personal stories about how he's a virgin and his first girlfriend cheated on him by sleeping with his best friend. And I was like, most regulars don't tell their baristas these things. And he started coming in at an exact time. He always came in between 6 and 7 o'clock. Always. No fail. And he would stay until 9 o'clock, which was when we closed. And my coworkers were starting to get worried for me, and I started getting really anxious. I did not want to go to work, and I would constantly stare at the front doors to see if he was walking in. And uh, it was weird. It was freaky, and he wanted me to sit with him when I would go on my breaks, and he started glaring at me and my boyfriend if my boyfriend was there, and just my creep meter was going. Need to do something about this, but I didn't want to seem like I was being silly. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but maybe I should have. And one day I was like, crap, he's coming in. I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum the dishes. And my coworker was like, yeah, that's okay. I don't mind if you do that. I completely understand. And I was like, yay, thank you. And I ended up staying back there an hour because he saw me trying to leave to go tell my boss. I was finally gonna go tell my boss, hey, can you make this guy leave? And Stacy, my friend that was working with me told him that he needed to leave. Now I had a boyfriend, and he said, well, work relationships don't work out because my current boyfriend works at the same place I do. It's like, work relationships don't work out, and she told him, you just need to leave, you need to buzz off. And finally, like, after he left and everything, my boss came out of his meeting, and I told him, I was like, this guy is starting to really make me feel uncomfortable. Can you please make him leave? He stays, he like moves closer to me if I'm like working on another section of the counter, and he keeps wanting me to like sit with him and take him places. And um, he was like, you should have just told us. We would have told him he had to leave. And I learned from that experience that if you're feeling uncomfortable at work, tell your boss. It is their job to make you feel comfortable. And if your boss doesn't want to help you feel comfortable or care about your safety at all, then you shouldn't be working for them. Because my boss, after I told him about this, he went on the security cameras and he figured out what he looked like, and I told him how old he was and his name and what he looked like, and they told me that I could park in front of the store now because employee parking is like way at the other freaking end of the parking lot. We have to like walk all the way to the front doors because there's no employee entrance, and it's like super far away. And so I'm allowed to park at the front now, and I have to walk with somebody to my car all the time for my safety because he was stalking me. And like I worked 2 sections in the store, so he would check for me at Starbucks, and then he would go over to Food Avenue and check if I was working Food Avenue. Like, he would go back and forth to see where I was working and if my coworkers were lying that I wasn't. Yeah, creepy. And another weird thing about him was he said he was from Georgia. He was born and raised in Georgia, but he had a British accent. But yeah, anyway, tell your boss. If you're feeling uncomfortable, tell your boss. They will do something about it, I promise you. They, they helped me out. Yeah, you have to like write a report and tell them exactly what this guy does and or girl, and they'll help you feel safe again. Like I love working at Starbucks, and I'm really glad I can go there again without dreading 6 to 7 o'clock to come around and like, is he coming in today? Is he coming in today? But I haven't seen him in months, so cross my fingers because I'm hoping he got the hint and he's like not going to show up anymore. And my bosses still ask me occasionally. They're like, "Hey, is Daniel coming around? Is he bugging you?" I'm like, "No, he was deployed right now, so we'll see if he comes back and he starts bugging me again." But I really don't think he will because my bosses took care of it. My coworkers helped me out, and I'm just really lucky nothing bad happened, and I'm glad I had people to look out for me. So be careful about creepy people who show up at your work too often, and you start noticing that they only have eyes for you. Yeah, just be careful. Creepy people are all out there. I know.